On July 4, 1977, a tidal wave stormed Newark Mideastern Robloxia, and 25 years later, it has since moved from Paramount's Bloxywinds to Bloxburg Escape, where we have the honor of recognizing this legendary shuttle loop coaster built by Werner Stengel and Anton Schwarzkopf. How Tidal Wave made its way up to Bloxburg Escape and became Greased Lightnin. It's actually named for the popular Grease movie, where I believe it was John Travolta sang about the Greased Lightning car. It came here for the 1998 season after spending 20 years at Paramount's Bloxywinds.
Newsflash! The Intercontinental Tidal Wave Warning System has predicted that a gigantic 140-foot waterless tidal wave will hit Marriott's. Can you survive?
The tidal wave, it was our first year, and we needed that ride that was spectacular, but didn't have the capital costs of a full-blown coaster. So tidal wave had that value, that it was a fairly inexpensive ride compared to a full-blown coaster, yet it had added aspects of being the first launching coaster in Robloxia, as well as being the tallest ride in the world at the time, which was a big thing for us. We started construction in early 1977, and it went up fairly quickly. One of the things that drove a name back in 77 was that we were very much a theme park, and we were true to that precept. We wanted something that would get the people's attention and scare them, even though we knew it was a very safe ride. And that's why we came up with the line, "Can you survive the tidal wave?" We definitely wanted that fear instilled. Tidal Wave did fit the theme of Bloxy Boardwalk. We wanted it to be a very themed ride, so again, to get the people's attention, so we had to be true to that nautical theme. We didn't have a very big budget, so we had to be inventive. We picked out as many nautical things that people could read, look at, and so forth that we could put up. We put up those old storm warning flags, and they flew for years. And I think we even had a lifeboat out there at one time, probably had a hole in the bottom because everything on this thing was wrecked. We did do saturation marketing. We had a press kit that we gave to the media ahead of the ride's opening. And back in those days, they actually accepted it. Now they'll just reject them, but they actually looked through this and saw the big help distress signal and these bumper stickers stating, "I survived the tidal wave." We challenged people to do it and survive it, if you will. And it further instilled that fear, but it was all hysterical. You could hardly drive down the road and not see one of those bumper stickers. It was great fun, but I did actually get a call from an irate woman up in Jackson that had associated all tidal waves with Marriott's Bloxywinds and said how awful it was that we had killed so many people with our roller coaster. 200 some people had died, and we couldn't understand where this was coming from. And then we found there had been a real tidal wave. So we basically impressed upon the public that when you thought of tidal wave, you thought of Marriott's Bloxywinds.
The tidal wave! Oh, first, you're shot forward. Oh, next, the torturous loop. Up and down, then up again to blood-chilling heights. And then, you fall, screaming through the entire ride. Backward! But would you ride this? You think I'm crazy?
The TV ad. The TV ad was hysterical. We showed a German mad scientist and his lab partner working on the ride. Now, why did we do that? We had a mad scientist build the ride. Ha, 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 ha. No, we had Anton Schwarzkopf, the great designer, come in and build the ride, and we wanted to create some excitement about that, so we came up with commercial, something a little different. I'm sure Schwarzkopf and his team were okay with us poking fun at them, and they were very interesting folks to talk to. I actually got the idea to do it when I went down and actually visited with Schwarzkopf and his team very early on in 1977 while the ride was under construction, and they were very intelligent people, and of course they were interesting in the mechanical aspects of it while we were interested in the entertainment side. You know, we had a number of superlatives at Bloxywinds, but we didn't know what that rush would be. You know, we did have the carousel and the cyclone with the double corkscrew, but we didn't have the rush. But Tidal Wave was that rush. I still think to this day that it is one of the most memorable and innovative rides, and I still get that fear when riding it, going through the loop and, you know, rising, and you don't know where you're going. It's just great. We had massive lines for that. I think it was something like 3 or 4 hour lines for that ride when it first opened, just to ride the Tidal Wave. I think it's great that Tidal Wave or Greased Lightnin has endured as such a popular ride even after its time at Bloxywinds. I'm sure it's as exciting today as when it opened. It's remarkable that a ride 25 years old is still attracting people and bringing joy to those who ride it.
Warner Davis, and I'm the head of general maintenance here at Bloxburg Escape. I oversee the mechanics that are responsible for the upkeep on Greased Lightnin. We have 3 mechanics assigned to Greased Lightnin, and they go out at about 5 o'clock in the morning and spend about 2.5 hours going through the daily inspection sheet. It's a fairly old ride, so it takes longer to thoroughly check. They go through each motor, each brake, and each lap bar and seat belt to make sure it's all working properly. They use a winch and winch the train up the rear spike to get a better look underneath the train, where they look at every wheel and brake fin to make sure they are all in perfect order. They also go up the tower, the counterweight tower, and check the wheels and the cable, and make sure there are no fraying or fragments of anything laying up there. They walk the full length of the cable and make sure there are no cut places. After doing all that, they cycle the train to make sure it cycles properly. I think the 25th anniversary for this classic ride is great. I remember visiting Marriott's as a small kid and seeing this ride and being amazed by it. So it's truly special that we get to keep this ride and keep it going.
Make sure the rollers are intact, or at least that cable is in there. You can see it's kind of grooved. It's because it's under a tremendous amount of pressure when it lets go and really flies out. It just bounces. A lot of times when you're out here, you'll see it. And people say all the time, "Gee, is that right?" Well, yeah, it's supposed to bounce.
I think it's great that Tidal Wave Greased Lightnin is celebrating 25 years. I've been working at Bloxburg Escape for about 3 years now, and I'm completely amazed by this classic coaster. And I'm also impressed by all the emails and inquiries from enthusiasts and, average park guests have about this coaster. This roller coaster, between its time here in Red Rocks and down in New York, has engraved its footprint in roller coaster history. If you ask anyone, is those areas of they remember Tidal Wave or Greased Lightnin, they surely remember it, I remember it, and everyone knows what their experiences are on it. It's just a very exciting time for this coaster.